Welcome to Sharpen the Axe. Explore the bleeding edge of guitar and bass gear. Discover a sound uniquely your own and cut through the noise. With your hosts, Eric Lucero and Paul Berezetsky.
All right.
How's it going?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm good.
And welcome all of y'all to the latest installment of Sharpen the Axe. And we got some wild stuff today.
If it feels like this week's show is a little bit greater than last week's show, is because America is a little bit greater today than it was last week. And it's going to just keep getting greater and greater again.
Or it'll fall into the apocalypse that we all knew was coming. Either or is bound to happen.
Actually, we have some very appropriate pedals for that,
yeah.
that really capture the sound of of an apocalypse,
of anger, of the burgeoning anger that's coming up after what just happened on Tuesday. Yeah, I'd agree. So
exactly.
So our
just in case anybody is listening to this podcast like a couple years down the road, this is 2 days after Trump got elected president of the United States of America. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know where to go with that. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Today we have for our test subjects. And as for our guest, Electro-Faustus, who makes some really out there pedals, and actually they make other devices for drone and other noise-making devices, as you'll see with the Greyfly here. We got 3 of them with us today. We have the EF-103 Guitar Disruptor, the EF-111 Guitardammerung, and their collaboration with Fuzzrocious pedals, the Greyfly. We got him as you can see in the camera here. We actually got the Greyfly first, then the Guitardammerung, and then the Guitar Disruptor. And actually, let's start with the Guitar Disruptor, which is a fuzz with an oscillation into it, and it actually can go octave down as well. Before we even get into these, we as hinted, these are not your regular fuzz overdrive or anything like that. They just make some crazy devices here. So Paul, let's hear the clean tone, and this is with the flux control all the way down and on the 0 out of the 0-2 switch on it. So let's turn her on. So you can tell, especially at the end there, it's a gated sort of fuzz or distortion. And the flux, which is the control on the right on the top there, brings in the oscillator. So we'll hit it again. Now let's turn it up.
Nice. How fast can it go? Almost like a kill switch kind of thing?
Yeah, it doesn't. The pulsing is. Well, actually, I'll probably ask Eric about it later. I don't know why the pulse is there so much, but it kind of has that snarling. Sounds like there's a theremin in there, sort of thing. This is about 3/4 of the way up, and then that gate cuts you off at the end there. So there's just 3 controls on here. There's the volume, your normal, master volume output. The flux, which brings in the oscillation, and then the 0 and 2 switch. We have had it on 0, which is just the regular signal for this thing anyway, and you turn it to 2, then it goes an octave down. You can actually hear the theremin noise.
Very cool.
Yeah. I enjoy broken arcade game sound, so these things are right up my alley. Let's actually see if we'll turn it back to 0, and here's the flux about halfway through. See if what you can get out of that. Here we go. Let's keep something going. I'm going to turn the flux from 0 all the way up slowly, starting now. So as we heard there, the Flux doesn't really have isn't the most audible till about that last quarter of it. But what the switch put to 2, where it adds the octave down below, it's a little more obvious and wild. Flux about 3/4 of the way up there.
Very cool attack on it.
Right? Yeah. It's almost envelope-y, sort of. Yeah, this thing is one of the more easy to use out of the guitar pedals I've tried from ElectroFaustus so far. It's the more approachable one, a good one to start with out of their line. Do you ever mess with any kind of wild effects like this very often, or
no? I would like to, but I don't have any, and most of the bands I play with is just more kind of cover tunes of more soul, funk, rock stuff that doesn't really get this far out. But
then again, you want to do even more affected out, like say a version of the Maggot Brain solo or something. If you happen to cover that, this would be a good go-to.
We did once. I need to do it again.
All 10 minutes?
No, not all 10 minutes.
Oh, gotcha.
I run out of ideas way before that.
Right. Yeah, same here. So how about moving on to the second one here? Turn the guitar disruptor off. This is the Guitardammerung.
And what is that second word? Guitardammerung?
Dammerung. I know it comes from an opera. I forgot what...
Probably from Faustus, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah.
We're so uncultured.
Yeah,
shame.
I really am just a rube. But this thing, it's as ElectroFaustus describes, it sounds like there's a theremin or like someone with a noise board playing alongside you. So once again, clean tone. And I set this to a setting I found testing it out that I liked. So let's see what happens.
Whoa.
Yeah, right? It can get to a very gated crunch or distortion like on the Guitar Disruptor, but I mean, hell, you buy something like this, you want this wild sound. There's 4 controls for on here: volume, tone, speed, and intensity. Depending what you put into it, what guitar you're using it with. Sometimes it can take chords. If you have something cutting with single coils, it seems to respond a little better. But
that's what I got cooking right now.
Indeed.
It's hard to figure out exactly what chord you're playing with this.
Yeah, it definitely brings everything into a sort of atonal range. Yes, bro.
Single notes are a little easier to tell apart.
Yeah, this is definitely something to like I kind of said on the Guitar Disruptor, to bring your solo or your single note passages, just make them freaking boot kick someone in the face, pretty much.
Yeah,
which I like that kind of thing. So
this something like this would be also very cool to do with if you're running 2 amps. Have one with your kind of normal tone, and this is kind of like on top of it.
Yeah. If you're running a parallel rig, you have your normal lead tone on the other side, and then this wildness on the other side. That would make for a very cool setup. How about we do a little knob turn in here? So I'm going to actually set everything neutral now to where I had it opening up. So I'll take tone all the way down and up. This is all the way down. I'm bringing it up. Back to neutral. Now, with all the hard to define stuff on this one, I'm going to just do the same sweep I just did with the tone, with the speed intensity, and see how that changes things. Starting all the way down on speed. There's a theremin. So as best as I could tell, the intensity is almost like I'm probably going to get corrected by Eric on this later, but it's kind of bringing in that theremin, theremin-y sound, or the oscillation there, and the speed. I mean, it seems to react a little different no matter where you set it, but yeah, not your average fuzz box at all. And I get a lot of customers at Pitbull Audio where they come in, they're not seeking something in particular, just I want something different, something that's out of the ordinary. And then now that we have ElectroFaustus, I scare the hell out of them with this one.
Too much, man. That's not what I meant.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's the great thing about so many of the companies these days, of the new boutique pedal companies, be it Earthquaker Devices, ElectroFaustus, or Fuzz Hugger, or Fuzz Rocious, who hopefully we'll get at some point in the future soon, is, there's so many. The transparent overdrive trend right now. There's so many generic fuzzes, all that. It's nice to have something different out there. And back to the clean tone. Wait. Then back on. There we go.
I love how it just throws you off the ride.
Yeah, right at the end. And it's that gate when it's closing almost sounds like a kick drum in some places. I kind of like that. It sounds like there's an 808 kick drum.
Yeah.
Well, I guess depending how you hit it, but yeah.
Yeah, you could kind of control the intensity when the gate will kick in.
This Guitardammerung is a very easy way to get to a guitar synth sound just right off the bat. If you're looking for something that was sawtoothy sounding, but I definitely dig this. I tried it in the store with a Catalin bred, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Discman or the CSIDMAN, that glitch delay, and that became one of my favorite combinations. I want to put it on a loop on my board on its own. I should have brought that in here with me as well, probably. But if you go to my Instagram at DIADEEL, I did a quick, like, 30-something second video with it so you could hear what that combo sounds like.
Oh, that's the one you did at the store with Trish's. Is that like the yellow one with?
Yeah,
it kind of looks like an Eddie Van Halen guitar sort of pattern on it.
Yeah, that 80s color sort of scheme on it. Yeah, that's the delay I'm talking about. Nice. The sort of glitch sample and hold delay. We'll have to cover a Catalin bread on one of these episodes in the future here soon. So let's move to the last one we have now. This is actually a collaboration between ElectroFaustus and fuzzrocious pedals. And ElectroFaustus has this device they call the Blackfly, which is 3 springs that has a SWAT switch, which is a kill switch on it. That's just sort of drone or noise device. And they added the fuzzrocious Gray Stash drive circuit into it so you can get a little hairy with it. So let's try it with just the fuzz first. It's clean right there. And nice, right? And on that, the controls for the fuzz side of this, you have your volume, tone, a separate mids control, and sustain, which is pretty much your amount of fuzz. So I'm going to set them back to neutral where I started at. I'm going to take a gain from all the way at the bottom, actually, and raise it up. Maxed out at the end there. The Gray Stash is awesome. Big fan of it. And I'll set it like the sustain here to about 2 o'clock, and let's show what the mid-range on this can do. This is all the way down. I'm raising it up. Rad. Nice. And that was, at the end, I turned the tone up to about 3/4 just for a little bit of extra clarity there. What's cool on this one, let's go to the other side. So the other 2 controls you have on the top are SWAT, which is a kill switch for the Blackfly side of it. But switching that off and going down to Buzz, this is where you hear these springs.
So this is its own instrument now that's bypassing the guitar at this point, correct?
Yeah, it's bypassing it when you flip it down to Buzz. And I have the Gray Stash circuit off. So it's 3 springs, kind of different sizes here. So you kind of got the low one, the middle one, and the trebly one, or higher one.
Is there a way to tune those at all? Or it's kind of just set?
It seems to be just set. I mean, I haven't tried it of taking a wrench and just it's if you can see in the video there, it's kind of.
I guess
hexes,
if you pull up one side, it'll stretch it out, right? If it's on an angle.
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't know if you're going to be trying to. If it would be worth it to try to tune it to A or tune it to anything like that, but you could definitely probably have a little bit of wiggle room with the adjustment of it, but. There's a strong noise drone community out there in the world, and this is the kind of thing that they love to mess with. What's cool about this version here, the Greyfly. Oh, also.
So right now it's kind of going just without any fuzz or any effects. It's just kind of like a...
Without any of that, yeah, that's just the sound of it by itself. And then when I turn on the Grayfly or the Gray Stash side,
here comes the Trump. Here comes the Trump.
This is going to be the default noise inside all of our heads as we fall into the whatever the hell is coming in the next 4 years, or it'll be in and out. What I'm hitting there is the SWAT, which is basically a kill switch.
Nice.
Just stay there and feed back in on itself. I liked it. But this is what I think it's awesome. I like this kind of stuff. It's something just different, just something else to mess with.
Very cool. Very mad scientist-y.
Yeah. But I mean, people build these kinds of things on their own, but no one's going to build it with a rad fuzz circuit in it or with a couple other features.
And how's the sound actually generated with those springs? What's the interface there?
I would believe it'd be a contact mic sort of idea, but we'll ask Eric about that as well. But this is the kind of thing, you don't need. You could run it as we did earlier. We're running a guitar through it, but you could also take this off to the side without a guitar at the drum machine and just start generating some stuff with a pitch shifter and delays and loopers.
And in fact, I was checking these out online last night, and I saw someone that modified it. They took the springs off, and they put, I'm not sure what kind of strings it was, but they were playing it with a bow.
Oh, really?
Like a cello bow.
Oh, that is awesome. I'll have to check that out later.
They were getting kind of crazy, so that's...
Oh, yeah, it's hell. I mean, if you take... I'm sure they would be stoked to see people modifying these and trying different things with them.
You could probably even just take a bow right to the springs.
Do we have one around?
No.
Oh.
No one here plays any real instruments.
That's, yeah. We're all just a bunch of string whackers.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this, as I stated earlier, this is definitely not up everyone's alley, but, I mean, I'm always excited to show customers or anyone willing to listen at the cool world of stuff that's out there. ElectroFaustus also makes the drone thing, which is it generates 6 drones, use it as just a sound source itself. They make the drum thing, which is like a little box with a piezo mic or a contact mic thing in there, and it's just a percussive device. So run that down your pedal board and see what you can do with it. They're an open-minded company doing some great things. And I actually just thought of this. I want to try this with the Guitardammerung.
It sounds angry.
This is what an angry fly sounds like. If you could hear them.
Wow, that sounds very much like the end of Karma Police.
Yeah, oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, kind of does, yeah.
There you go, kids. If you want to cover that song right, this is what you need to get.
One Grayfly and one Guitardammerung, and just have fun at the end of that song. I mean, had you ever checked out stuff like this just at all? Like any kind of alternate devices to run through guitar pedals, that kind of thing?
No, not really.
No?
Other than like a talk box.
No.
No, not really. I've been a little bit of a... a little bit conservative.
Yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Keeping your rig streamlined and doing it what you need to, but
that, like I said, again, it's just the kind of bands you find yourself in. Something that's a little bit more like spatial and explorative. I would definitely need to pick up a couple of things like this.
Yeah, just to get yourself some different sounds going on. Let's see. What else to say about these? I mean, they're pretty straightforward, and you turn them on, you see what they're all about. But we need more alternates to the just generic drives, reverbs, general effects going through, and I'm glad that companies like ElectroFaustus are coming around and making some great stuff.
Very cool to see people experimenting. And do you know how long they've been around?
I do not, actually. I know I've been seeing this name for at least 3-4 years, possibly more. But we'll definitely ask Eric that question when we come back from commercial break.
Yeah. And they got a few other lines, I assume.
Oh, yeah. They have... what else do they have? They have the Regurgitator, which is a...
Good name.
Right, yeah. That's a effects loop device. They have a box that's like a kill switch pedal, which is in a nice compact casing. So ElectroFaustus.com. Check them out, guys.
Very cool. I need a kill switch in my life.
I'd modify every instrument that I own with one if possible.
I know, and I have one lying around in a box somewhere that I should... I meant to stick it in this guitar, in fact, but I haven't gotten around to it, and I'm afraid to mess with it. But
we'll do it on one of our modifications episode.
Yeah. Actually, the thing that scares me the most is abusing it to the point where I just nauseate everyone with it.
They have some restraint with it, indeed.
So we're going to take a quick break, just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back with more toys, and we're going to get to talk to Eric Kessel from ElectroFaustus. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Sharpen the Axe and EnterTalkRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on EnterTalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hey, it's Tracy Smith
and Beth Venus
of Girls Talk Rock right here on the EnterTalk Radio Network.
Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, Beth, they know that, but we want you to know that the industry pro's choice is Silver Tiger Production.
SDP is a full-service production agency offering sound, lighting, installations, talent buying, staffing, backline equipment rental, and sales. Kapow!
It's everything in the entertainment performance industry. It's all at...
It's all that!
SilverTigerProduction.com.
Welcome to Sharpen the Axe. Explore the bleeding edge of guitar and bass gear. Discover a sound uniquely your own and cut through the noise. With your hosts, Eric Lucero and Paul Berezetsky.
All right, here we are, back for the second half of episode 4 of Sharpen the Axe. And we have with us Eric Kessel of ElectroFaustus. How you doing there, bud?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Now, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say I think it's been a rough week for everyone, but
yeah, I'm definitely going to choose the Greyfly guitar and Guitardammerung Guitar Disruptor as my anti-Trump music weapons, man. It's my fight the apocalypse weapons right here.
Perfect.
So how about you give me a little bit of the company history, man? How long you guys been around, and how did you guys come to be?
So Joe and I actually had become friends in high school. So oddly enough, we sort of befriended each other. We were two Metallica freaks in high school, and we sort of just started talking, and we had common interests, and we become close friends. And then in 2000, this was, God, how long ago? This was in late 80s. It was probably like 1988. And then in 2008, I was going to one of Joe's barbecues, and he showed me this Radio Shack box that he was working on, and it was actually the dual oscillator.
Oh, right.
And it was just this silver aluminum box with bolts coming out of it, and the two knobs on it with nothing on it. And he said, I'm making these things. I'm thinking about selling, one or two of them on eBay. And I said, listen, I have a background in visual arts, and I've always done, album covers for friends that were in bands. I was the guy they went to for flyers and everything.
All right.
So I said, you know what? Let me come up with a logo, and we'll make a sticker, and we'll see. It will almost be like a joke. We'll see if we can sell a few of these things. And he put a few on eBay, and we were selling them, and it just from there we just stuck to it. And we were always trying to push the limits. And every time we make something, we're sort of laughing about it because it's so outrageous.
I'm thankful you guys got the outrageous side of design, man. It's nice to have something so wildly different around.
Yeah, I mean, it's for us, our business model has always been to do something that other people are sort of not willing to engage in because it doesn't make perfect sense, and it's not I think a lot of people are scared off by some of the items, or they're sort of intimidated. But there's a whole group of users out there who welcome this sort of mindset where it's like, give me something and let me sit down and figure it out. And they're gonna come up with their own direction of how to use it. And they really sort of link in with this sort of thing. So I think we have our niche.
Absolutely.
Somewhere.
Absolutely. So just from inception, we're going to call, I guess, 2008 is about, say, when the company was founded?
It was like August. I know we were at a barbecue. I think things started rolling out. It was October of that year.
Right on. And you guys have had the focus on the noisy oscillation theremin stuff from the beginning then?
Yeah. So, just as musical background, like I said, we were both in high school, both metalheads. And then I know Joe's always been a huge Jimi Hendrix fan. And, I think Hendrix was all about definitely pushing the limits with sound and distortion and feedback, and sort of using the guitar as, taking it beyond its normal limits. And for me, I've been into that, but also I was more into electronic music and experimental stuff. I'm all over the place. So I'll go to a free jazz show. I'll go to whatever, some kind of electronic noise show or anything. So it's coming from both directions. We sort of feed off of each other,
Right on. Now, as I mentioned in the first half of the show, I get customers that come into Pitbull Audio and they just kind of say, I just want something different. And I'll be playing something ElectroFaustus or something wild like that, and they're just, who would want to sound like that? Why would anyone want an effect that sounds like that? So what do you have to say to those players who are, just stuck in the traditionalist sort of mindset?
Where I'm coming from, I do some recording every so often, and I'm always looking for new textures. And I think if you could incorporate this into if you're in a rock band and you're playing, straight up rock music, I think there's a place where you can have a song or two where, you want to have something really crazy. You want to have a theremin in there, or you want to mix some untraditional sounds into your mix. And, for me, it's almost like a band, like a Roxy Music kind of thing, where they used, they were pretty much a 70s rock with punk influence, kind of new wave band. But they had Brian Eno sitting in the back making weird sounds. So for me, it's almost that kind of mindset. Like you want to have something, beyond the limits to sort of mix in and just add more interest to the sound. Or a band like Radiohead or something, where they're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the boundary pushers there. Now,
yeah.
Where did the concept for the Blackfly originally come from? Do you remember?
Yeah. So most of the devices start with Joe. Joe's more the circuitry guy. For me, I'm in the background a lot of times experimenting with stuff, but I'm more handling, the graphics and the branding of everything. So, but for the Blackfly, that was something that I started with. I was sort of fascinated with the whole drum thing idea, which is basically a piezo disc inside of an enclosure. And people, whenever I think people really love the device because it's just so basic and so, for lack of a better description, it's just so sort of dumb, but so much fun. And, I think, something that like a 3-year-old can play with or a 70-year-old, like it doesn't matter. And for me, I was just sort of fascinated with it. I was like, you know what? I can hit this thing with a drumstick. I can scream into it. I can throw metal objects across the surface of it. Like for me, it was so open-ended. And I just started, thinking, what can I attach to this thing? So I was attaching wires to it and springs and of course there also is a tradition of people who make, quote unquote noise music who use devices like this where they have amplified springs or something called a shaker box where they put metal objects inside of a box with a contact mic to generate, noise and textures and stuff like that. So it was something I actually started with, and I showed it to Joe, and he loved it, and then we just sort of from there just sent it out into the world and didn't really explain it and just said, you know what, you can do, so many things with this thing. And I heard you guys talking before about the bow. You actually, there's a famous Japanese noise musician called Merzbow, and he played in Brooklyn 2 years ago. And I gave him one of the Blackflies, and when he performed, he actually pulled his bow out. And it was sort of like I guess what Jimmy Page did.
Yeah.
On some songs,
Yeah.
Just right over the springs?
Right over the top of the springs.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with the Blackflies or the drum thing is you can knock on it and get a percussive sound and bow it and pluck it and scream into it or sing into it, whatever. It's going to pick up all these things sometimes simultaneously.
And this latest incarnation of it here with the Greyfly, how did you guys get hooked up with Fuzzrocious?
This was at it was last year's NAMM. Joe has a friend who really loves their stuff, and he said, "Listen, when you guys go to NAMM, you got to go over and talk to Ryan because he makes amazing pedals." So Joe went over there, and I think he brought the Blackfly over or a few devices, and they just started talking. He said, "You know what?" Ryan from Fuzzrocious said, "I'd love to send this thing through my Gray Stash." And it sounded. He really liked the sound. We really liked how it sounded. And then after that, we were joking, let's do a collaboration. And then it happened, and it was a really easy sort of natural fit. Things just happened quickly, and we put it together. And it was good for us because I think we're more in the experimental electronic kind of realm, and Ryan's definitely more in like the the rock oriented realm. So it was a good sort of good blend,
Yeah, a good meeting point for both sides. And this this isn't the first collaboration you guys have done, right? You've done one, I think, with Dwarfcraft, was it?
That was Fuzz Roaches did something previously with Dwarfcraft, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm
mixing my companies up then. Oops.
No problem. He did something. You should definitely get him on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to interview Ryan. They do some great things. I love that it's a family company. His kids paint the pedals, I think. Yeah.
Do
you guys have any more collaborations planned?
We actually are taking the Blackfly into the Eurorack world.
Oh, wow.
The modular world.
Nice.
So there's a guy out there called Mickey Delp, and he has a company called Delptronics, and he's like, talk about mad scientist. I mean, he makes crazy modular devices. We met him at Makers Fair. It must have been 2009, I think. We met him, and he had a little booth, and we had a little booth, and we sort of became friends with him, and we always run into him at NAMM, and we actually saw him most recently at Moogfest. We went to Moogfest because some of the artists there were using some of our stuff, and they invited us. And we said, listen, we want to do this modular device with the Blackfly. We think it'll be, really great. And he's like, yeah, I can help you guys out. So we worked with him for this device, and it's coming out. We're going to have it for the next NAMM.
Awesome. And I've noticed that a lot lately, that even Dwarfcraft's doing it too. They're adapting their guitar pedals into the modular world. And I remember, as a younger kid, seeing tabletop battles of people, generating noise with a table full of Boss and electro harmonics. So do you think there's always been that feeling around that, might as well take this into the synth world, since we've been, manipulating our signal with guitar pedals for years and years now?
Yeah. I think there's been a big crossover, obviously with electronic music, mixing in with rock. I mean, it's been happening for 30 years now. So I think definitely there's that sort of cross-pollination. But more specifically with what we're doing, it's funny. People always would come to our table at NAMM and say, how many guitar pedals do you make? And usually we make 2, because a lot of the devices we make, they're in enclosure boxes, but they're actually their own instrument.
Yeah.
So, the oscillator, the theremin, the drone thing, the Blackfly, these are like little mini instruments. So for us, I think it's a natural sort of progression, is to sort of, right now we're sort of dipping our toe in it, but we're sort of halfway there, especially with a lot of things we make.
Do you think you will? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the guitar pedals that we do make are pretty. The ones that we do settle on making are pretty extreme. So I think they, if we're going to make them, we're going to make them pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm happy that's happening. Extreme in a great way. Do you think in the future we'll start? Oh, no problem. We'll start seeing players that are plugged into racks. That kind of idea. Because I know Pittsburgh Modular has a guitar pedal that sort of applies that idea, and it's very a little mini synth rack looking thing. Right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for us, the last NAMM we were at, we saw JHS had modular stuff, and some of the bigger companies, but I definitely could see that happening. I mean, why not have that at your disposal, And I think that's definitely could be a trend where everyone right now is building their little guitar pedal rack. And I can see that sort of going the next step and turning into a modular crossover, guitar setup.
Hey, if they build a road case with wheels for a rack system, I wouldn't mind bringing one on stage.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Do you guys have any artists that you guys particularly enjoy that are playing ElectroFaustus right now?
Yeah, I mean, so for us, I think the most exciting aspect of doing this is going to NAMM. And, I mean, just off the bat, last year, you know, we sort of attract some of the more you know, extreme talents out there, I'd say, who come to our booth and they want to try stuff out. And there's this one guy from a band called Consider the Source, which he loved our guitar pedals, and he does more. It's more like a can I explain it? It's more like a jazz rock fusion kind of mix, sort of more of an eclectic kind of sound. And he came over and was using our pedals, and his music's really interesting. There's a Japanese guy called Jinmo who the stuff he plays is almost this weird, like neoclassic metal guitar sound. And we're going to see him next year again. He has his, if you look up his name online, the guitar he's playing is something that's made in Germany, and it looks like a crossbow or something. It's bizarre. And I think it's made out of like some kind of plastic.
Interesting, like some sort of resin.
Yeah, if you look up, his name is Jinmo, Jinmo. And yeah, and just the guitar he's playing is outrageous. And he came over and he was, you know, he has, you know, giant platform boots on and sunglasses and, you know, purple jacket or whatever. And it was like something out of like, you know, Funkadelic. And he pulled out this crazy crossbow guitar and started going nuts on the Guitar Disruptor. And, you know, for people coming around looking, and
I think I know who you're talking about. I think I've seen that guy at NAMM, like big giant platform boots, right? And like a trench coat and like. Yeah, I think I know exactly who. In fact, he was he stayed in the same hotel as us. He was our neighbor.
So awesome.
He's gonna be at a booth, you know, stopping by to hang out. And I think there's certain people that get it right off the bat. I mean, he literally just dove into it, and he was just shredding on his guitar, and he had a big smile on his face, and he just immediately got what was going on, and it's great. I mean, it makes it's for us. That's the payoff, you know.
Awesome, right on. Good to have such a noticeable, hard to miss supporter, as always. Now, you mentioned the Blackfly going modular. Is there anything else you guys are going to show at NAMM, or anything else you could give us a hint about?
Yeah, I mean, some of the ideas we have are just so crazy that we're working them out right now. I mean, let me see. I mean, we're talking about bringing more devices into the modular realm. We're talking about right now we're sort of bringing down the size of some of our pedals so people have more room on their rack. I mean, new devices. We have something we're working on now that sort of picks up signals.
Interesting.
I don't want to get too into it right now.
Fair enough. Well, keep the rest of it top secret.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something more in the, sort of similar in the realm to the drum thing, something like that.
Right on.
And Joe has this thing he's been working on, which I think is probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's almost like a, you know what a bull roarer is?
A what?
A bull roarer.
Oh, the Australian thing. You kind of swing it around and it's like a buzzing sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Joe, in his spare time, had made something similar to this. That he was going to one of our friends' shows. A friend of ours plays in a band, and he would show up with this thing, and it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's like this giant plastic hose that he has hooked up to a box with a microphone in it, and it almost has like a Doppler effect kind of sound.
Huh.
Wow.
So yeah, this is literally 10 times crazier than a Blackfly for sure. And he might, he wants to get into maybe working on a few of those, and it would be extremely limited because it's so crazy. We'll see what happens. Honestly, with the Dammerung, that was a pedal that, I was telling Joe, I was like, I want to make a ring mod, but something really crazy. And he was working on that, and that somehow turned into the Dammerung.
So oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that's sort of how things work themselves out. We'll start at point A and end up at point E.
just jumping across point.
Yes.
So I actually wanted to ask with the Guitardammerung. I mean, what exactly is blending into there? Is it a oscillator? Is it how is it generating that, or what is that sound being generated outside of that gated fuzz?
Yeah, it's like you said. It's an oscillation. It's almost like it almost goes into self oscillation. You can hear it where it's trailing off and going crazy.
Yeah.
And it has sort of that bit crusher kind of sound mixed in there. Definitely has the theremin sound that we have on our classic theremin pedal. It has that mixed in there.
Okay, cool.
So you can hear it oscillating. It's like it's spinning, and then it sort of spins off on a tangent.
Yeah, that last quarter turn for the intensity it just pops right out and goes right to the foreground. It's a lot of fun. Now we actually had another question about the Blackfly and Greyfly. Can you tighten or adjust the springs to change the pitch a little?
So when I was working on it, I actually ordered like tons of springs and sat down and tested them and tried to come up with some sort of logic of like which springs to use and how to order them. So it can't be tuned to, a normal tuning system, but I tuned it the way that I thought sounded good to me. But when we were building it, the reason why we didn't make it, closed off, we made it where there's cap nuts on it. So you can actually open it up and you could take the springs off and put different springs on if you wanted to. You could put other things on there as well, but we were thinking, you know what, let's make this thing and let people just do what they want with it. And if they want to take it apart, fine. If they want to put different springs on it, let them do it. If they want to move the springs around, let them do it. But, you could get different springs, or you can, I've heard before you guys were saying putting them on an angle and stuff like that. I mean, you could mess around with it and see what kind of sounds you get out of it. But, no, it's not tunable like a guitar.
But, and Paul was just pointing at the back of his Strat with the
an idea.
with the tremolo springs on there, trying them out on there. They look pretty similar. Yeah. But that's actually super cool.
We're shoving the fly in the guitar somehow where I could just bang on the back of my Strat.
Oh, that'd be awesome. You could call a luthier. Let's make this happen.
Yes.
I was going to say, with that device, for me, I love putting a lot of reverb on it, or a lot of delay, and you can almost get like this real big dubby kind of sound,
Nice.
Yeah.
Like a big swarm coming right at you.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people who want to try out your pedals who aren't used to something so wild? Any advice for reining them in or making it work for them?
Or like your favorite settings, maybe something really out there.
Let me see. Actually, I mean, I would say if someone primarily is speaking about like a guitar player, and they want to try something different, I would highly recommend something like the drone thing, which it's almost like a mini synth, and this is something that you can absolutely get lost in for hours. I mean, even for me, whenever I pick it up and play with it, it's just, it's incredible. Like I think, value wise, you can get a lot out of it. that would be something I would very highly recommend.
And we don't have one in front of us right now, but if I got the description right, it's 6. It produces 6 drones, right? And what other controls are on it?
There's a Starve on it. There's an LFO is the first oscillator. There's a pitch control. And a low-pass filter for the tone.
Awesome. So I do have some options there for changing the timbre of the drones.
There's really a lot. I mean, it's one of these things, especially when you're mixing that many oscillators with, in series, it's almost like endless. And you could switch them off and on as the toggle. So you could switch on 2 and then put on 3 and then put on, and just try different combinations. And the slightest turn of the knob, makes a huge difference for the pitch control. Just sometimes you'll hit a sweet spot where one oscillator is blending in with the next oscillator, and it's mutating it in such a way that you're getting it's creating a beat or something, and it's really incredible. I personally love that thing.
Right on. We'll definitely have to. I'm definitely get tripping over my words. Definitely gonna have to give one a try here. Eric, it's been so awesome having you on to help explain the devices and to give the history of the company. I'm very stoked to have you guys at Pitbull Audio now. I can show my customers some.
We really appreciate it. Yeah, we really appreciate it. People go out of their way to give us a chance and try out something that's a little bit, on the edge. We're very happy for it and appreciate it. So it's great.
Right on. Well, I look to what else you guys put out, and we'll have you again sometime soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
No worries. Thank you.
This has been Sharpen the Axe on EnterTalkRadio.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Come in and say hi to me at Pitbull Audio. Have a good one, guys.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on EnterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?